lymph nodes, and they're not from cancer, but they're from the vaccine. So there is some truth to that, but what you should always do is call your provider and find out if that's what
Let's
they
turn it off.
Thank you. Thank you, Nurse Debbie.
Welcome, sweetie.
I'm going.
Marlene. Okay.
Many
Hello,
talents.
Margie Miller. It's nice to see you. Big shout out to Margie. Let's see, Carol's on. Hi, Carol.
Friday also.
Carol, Rita. Let's see, who else is here with us? Love my pips. Nice to see you all.
Love you.
I know, it's so wonderful to see you all.
You'll be a
Okay,
pip
Rita,
before
where's
you know
Rita?
it, Debbie.
What'd you say, Margie?
You'll be a pip before you know it.
That's true. Whoever thought I'd be a pimp? Oh my God.
Oh, there's Rita. I see you, Rita. Looking good.
Better a pip than a pimp.
Here tomorrow.
Maybe,
A
maybe
pip
not.
is a past international president. That's what a pip is.
I know, but I'm thinking it's better than having the M in there.
Okay, Debbie.
Oh,
So,
My age, PIP is also something that's sang with, was it Dino? That was Gladys Knight and the
The
Pips.
pips.
So it was in there. Al and John Davis.
well, if you want these three to do backup singing, you might be in trouble.
No kidding. Like a lot of trouble. I don't sing. Margie sings. I don't sing.
All right. Rita, can you sing? She's stunned.
Can I sing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Not today, just in general. I said Margie has a good voice. I don't sing. So it must be, it could be Virgo's, Rita.
Oh, I can sing. if you want.
All right. I'm going to mute everyone.
Do you want me to?
No.
She missed the whole.
It was a point of information.
Right. The point of the story is it was rhetorical. Okay, so good morning, good afternoon. It's nice to be with everybody. It's good to start with a laugh. I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend and good Shabbat. I had my sisterhood Shabbat at Ort Zion in Scottsdale, and it was wonderful. I read Torah. My sister Ellen read Torah. I had an opportunity to make a big speech and talk about Women's League, and it was really a wonderful, wonderful service. I love it. I just love it when we honor our own women and we talk about our accomplishments. Yesterday, many of us were on the Central Great Lakes program, the Education Day. That was a wonderful opportunity for us to learn a little bit about some things about our family history and genealogy, and that was great. It was a great program. We thank Fran for inviting all of us. Many of us were there. Many of the region presidents were on. Today, we have under our series of Jews in Comedy, we are doing, Sheila Kaufman, you had your sisterhood Shabbat on Saturday too. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for sharing. So today at 3 o'clock East Coast time is our series of Jews in Comedy. It's the second one. Hundreds of people got on the last time, and I know that it was wonderful. We all laughed, and we certainly need to be able to have a laugh. So I encourage you, if you have not registered, you can get on the link, and you still have time to register if you'd like to come. And tomorrow, of course, is our Masorti Day of study in Israel. And so if you have not registered for that, please register. And of course, if you'd like to make a donation, that would be fine. If not, if you donated at least $36 to the Tuesday Day of Giving, then you are welcome to go without a donation, but donations are always gratefully accepted to support that program. And so that's tomorrow. We have a busy week, and I see in the chat many other sisterhoods and Women's League groups had their sisterhood Shabbat. Let's see, Debbie Green, you said you had yours, and Barbara Kaplan gave the Devar Torah. Oh, kol hakavod, Barbara, that's nice. And Sheila Kaufman, and oh, okay, Rabbi, we need to learn.
Thank you. And as Debbie said, since tomorrow is the Masorti Women's Day of Study, we will be meeting for our Makom B'Yachad at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. So just remember to come on a little earlier tomorrow. And at this time, I'm going to bring up the Mishaberach, and Amy Schwartz will be singing for us today. So Amy, please do pause between the paragraphs so we can say the names of our loved ones. Thank you.
Misheberach avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha la'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Thank you, Amy Yashikoche. And it's Monday, Psalm 48, and we have Esther Klein. I always call her Esther, but that's her Hebrew name, Elaine Klein. I'm very glad that your Hebrew name is Esther. And Susan Seferis, and Susan has her yahrzeit for her Aunt Irene, who lived to Kanahara 106 years old. Wow.
Yeah, she was amazing.
And so Susan, if you want to take the odds, and Elaine will take the even verses.
Okay. A song, a psalm of the sons of Korah.
Great is Adonai and highly praised in the city of our God, God's holy mountain.
Splendid, sublime, on the north is Mount Zion, joy of all the earth, city of the great sovereign.
God is known in her citadels as a refuge.
The rulers conspired and advanced, but when they saw her, they were astounded.
Panic stunned them. They fled in fright.
Seized with trembling like a woman in labor.
Shattered like a fleet wrecked by an east wind.
What we once heard, we now have witnessed in the city of Adonai Savaot, the city of our God. May God preserve it forever. Selah.
In your temple, God, we meditate upon your kindness.
Your glory, like your name, reaches the ends of the earth. Your right hand is filled with beneficence.
Let the mountain of Zion be glad. Let the cities of Judah rejoice because of your judgments.
Walk all about Zion, encircle her, count her towers.
Review her ramparts, scan her citadels, then tell her story to later generations.
Tell of our God who will guide us forever.
Thank you to both of you, and Yashikochechen. And today's Pirkei Avot that we're studying is from chapter 3, the 18th teaching. He used to say, most likely it was probably Rabbi Akiva, who's teaching in the Mishnah right before this and the Mishnah afterwards. Beloved is the human, for the human was created in the image of God. It's indicative of a greater love that it was made known to people, that we were created in the image of God, as it is said, for human beings were made in the image of God, from Genesis chapter 9. Beloved are the people Israel, for they are described as children of the omnipresent. Is an indicative of even greater love, that it was made known to them that they are described as children of the omnipresent. As it is said, you are children of the eternal, your God, from Deuteronomy. Beloved are the people Israel, for a gift by which that the world was created, meaning the Torah, was given to them. It's indicative of even greater love, that it was made known to them that they were given a gift by which the world was created, as it is said, for I have given you good teaching. Do not forsake my Torah. So similar to many of us are familiar with the passages in the Haggadah that give a statement and then it gives a proof text from the Torah usually, or someplace in Tanakh in the Bible. It's a style that's used in the Mishnah and Midrash to make a point And then you have to bring a proof text, and the highest, greatest proof text you could bring is from the Torah, which I have to say, after preparing this and studying Rashi each week with the commentary for the Torah portion, it just amazes me that everyone was able to come up with all the verses, both in the Torah and also the Gemara verses, the Talmud, without having books. I mean, I have books all over my house, or you can look it up on Safaria, but Rashi and Akiva, they didn't have books to go and look up. They just knew all of this stuff. It always amazes me when I read all of that. So the basic idea here is that we are loved by God. And why are we so loved by God? The Hebrew word is chaviv. Let's look back in the Hebrew. Chaviv, like Chaviva, the name, not Haviva, not Aviva, which is spring, but Chaviva, like the loved person. So why are we so loved? We're all created in God's image. And that is why we're so loved. And then it goes to, well, you could say that's the universal idea, that all people are created in God's image. And then we get to the particular that the people of Israel specifically are the most loved because we got the ultimate gift from God, the gift of Torah. And that is our ultimate relationship with God and the ultimate present and gift that God has given us. So that's a great summary of the entire teaching, but of course I'm going to break it down even further. So what is this greater love? Israel has a privileged status. We have a higher status that we should have pride in, that with this status, we should realize that it's up to us to really maintain that status. It's like someone might be the true athlete in the team, but they have to work at it and to show their leadership skills. So as the loved people of God, we have to show our leadership skills, to have spiritual goals, to connect. So I'm going to go back to the Hebrew for a minute to see one of the terminologies, I have to find it in the text, is kli chemda. So it's 3 lines from the bottom here. Kli chemda is a cherished or precious utensil. A kli is a vessel. So what is that ultimate precious vessel? Our Torah that God gave us. And what is the Torah? It's a plan for the universe. So it's taught in Breshit Rabbah in the Midrash that when a builder builds, they need to set out the plans for it. And when God was about to create the world, God too had a plan. And what was that plan? It was the Torah. And through the plan of the Torah, the world came into being. And who then received these ultimate plans, these ultimate blueprints of the world? We did. The Jewish people received the Torah and was given it to us to study and to keep and to maintain as well. So you'll see this Hebrew is just who at the beginning, hu haya omer, he said. Don't know who that who is, but most likely because the Mishnah before and the Mishnah after, the teachings before and after are Rabbi Akiva. So this is another teaching by Rabbi Akiva. So he stresses the idea here, Rabbi Akiva, of love. It's a way to soften the views of Judaism. You know, some people might see Judaism just as a religion of laws, but it's not about all the laws. It's about the ahava. Think about our verse, Shema Yisrael, listen, O Israel, and v'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha. You shall love the Lord your God. It's the human awareness of the divine source of life. And that source should be the sense of love, that bond that we have with God. That you could think of it as who is the ultimate parent? Avinu Malkeinu, when we sing on the high holidays. Our parent, our ruler. And you shouldn't always just see a parent as an authoritative figure, but also as a loving figure. And this love is an incumbent upon us to relate lovingly to one another, not just to God, but if we think that we're created in the image of God, we should relate to each other in love as well. So, and just the way you obey a parent, you have to obey God as well. With the love comes obedience. The Rambam, Maimonides in the Guide to Perplex, says that it's an intellectual comprehension that indicates that human beings are created in the divine image. It's not just something you know, but you have to really intellectualize and think about that. Almost think, if God is caring, how can I be caring? If God says something nice, then what I'm about to say, if it's not nice, then I shouldn't say it. So the last verse, last part of this is about the teaching. The lekach is the word that's used. And Bartonura, one of the commentators, says that it comes from an idea in Deuteronomy that my doctrine shall drop as the dew. So if you think about that, and many of us in our weather lately has lots of things dropping, and it's a constant drop of dew and nature. So perhaps God is continuously giving us this gift of Torah. So I said at the beginning, the word chaviv, it's a nice word. It just like flows out of your mouth. It's beloved. And it's that by being beloved, we have a moral obligation with God to realize that we're loved by God. And it means a lot. You have to behave well. Think about it, that sometimes when we send our children out into the world, we want them to behave well. I always tell them you're a reflection on me and on our family, that we too, as the part of the Jewish people, are reflections of God. That yes, God loves all human beings, but we're extra special because we receive the Torah. But you should treat all people well. So here's a wonderful story that Akiva was asked, similar to Hillel was asked also, of the ultimate goal of what Torah should be. Very similar to what Hillel says, and from the book of Leviticus, chapter 18, and you shall love your neighbor as yourself. So it's not just a particular idea of just loving Jewish people. You should love everyone and all people. Just want to see a few other things. The mission of the Jewish people is in this idea. If we think about the mission of our mission should be that we're created in the image of God, and we teach each other and treat each other as if we're each God. What a beautiful vision and mission that would be, to bring this divine image to the entire world, to bring the gift of Torah to everybody. It puts a context and a content in our lives to really think of how we're part of that transmission of Torah. If Torah perhaps is given every day, then we're transmitting God's Torah every day and passing it on to others as we study Torah. So one of the last ideas that I want to say, how Israel is so on a higher level. There's a beautiful story by Rabbi Yehoshua ben Levi tells us in Devarim Rabbah in a Midrash, that when a person walks on the highway, a company of angels goes first, announcing, make way for the image of the Holy One. So when an individual person walks along, it's as if the Rabbi Yehoshua ben Levi is saying that they're announcing, the angels are saying, the image of God is coming, beware. Realize that this person is unique and loved, and that each person is cut from a holy cloth, that every person possesses a soul. Every one of us is created in the image of God, and we should maintain that in our daily behavior, in our interactions with each other. And just a thought for comparing the idea of ancient Judaism with other communities. So the ancient code of Hammurabi in the ancient world said that if a slave was killed, it's a monetary crime. Now just think of that. It's a monetary crime, meaning that when the slave, who was an individual, who was a person, was killed, it's a possession. Yet in Judaism, what do we teach? The Torah says if you kill a slave, it's a murder of a human being. No matter what a person's status is, it's a destruction, not of property, but of a person, and it's a capital punishment. And it's a capital crime. And lastly, I want to conclude with a teaching from Lord Rabbi Jonathan Sacks of blessed memory in his book, Lessons in Leadership. How do we take all this teaching of the Mishnah and use it in our daily lives to show that as part of the Jewish people, as the state of Israel, as a Jewish community, we have a commitment and a collective responsibility to behave in such a way that a human person is the image and likeness of God. So we should behave in a just and compassionate way for all those around us. And what a beautiful world it would be. Perhaps it's utopian, but that if we really saw each individual person that we interact with as God walking by us, what a better world it would definitely be. So I'm going to look in the chat. Okay, all of them are about yurtzites and yasher koach to Amy. So any thoughts? Have you seen the image of God in another today? And how so?
Rabbi,
Yes.
I really think that that is really such a valuable lesson, because what leads to the polarization of our society is not seeing each other as a reflection of the image of God, seeing each other in labeled terms, or in sometimes even non-human terms. It really is that first step to being able to relate to somebody who may have an opinion different than yours, as long as you can see that they are a reflection of God's image as well.
Beautiful. Thank you. Especially in this polarization of this world today. Audrey.
So if this is true, what you've taught us today, all Jews are in the image of God. So that means men and women as well. If that's true, then why the prohibition against women in the Orthodox community?
So we're all created, and all people, not only Jews, but all people are created in the image of God. And then in the Orthodox traditional communities, they say that women have different roles, and that men and women have different roles in the world. Of course, we've changed that in the conservative movement to show true egalitarianism, that if we're all equal, we're all equal.
Thank you.
Thank you. And yes, Sandy Berenbaum, it is the teaching that when Hillel and Shammai were asked, teach me the whole Torah on one foot, and Hillel said, "V'ahavta l'reacho kamocha," love your neighbor as yourself. And because it's such an important verse, Akiva has taught about it as well in this teaching from where was it? It was in a midrash in the Sifra. And so it's both of them, and he truly shows that in this Mishnah, that we should love our neighbor as ourselves, no matter what religion they are. Okay. So I think it's a good topic to learn and to think about. It's one of those Mishnayot, one of those teachings in Pirkei Avot that is very accessible, and you can, it's a great starter of a conversation of how we will treat each other in our community and welcome everyone in. So I want to turn to Arlene Fisher today, who will be reading our names of our loved ones. There are quite a number of yurtzites today.
We lovingly remember the following: Evelyn Seelig, Sue Press, Leona Elligberg, Dolores Megan, Phyllis Haas, Ivan Stanton, Sylvia Kraus, Herb Lubars, Hannah Bat Shimon Vakarlan, Ellen Babbitt, Theodore Fishman, Richard Merrick, Lillian Tobias, Doris Hildebrandt, Ruth Lewis Bloomfield, Michael Klingbaum, Michael Schrank, Shirley Shapiro, Carol Hope Taub, David Levy, Arnie Levinson, Barbara Roth Roberts, Phyllis Grusin Weinstein, Saul Fishman, Davida Shipkowitz, Ike Cohen, Rabbi Stephen Lerner, Rabbi Eric Wilner, Jace Diaz, Yossi Goldstein, Isidore Goldberg, Jacob Grossman, Annette Ross, Gloria Silverstein, and yurtzites of Lena Alpert, Francis Bergstein, Miriam Jacobs. May their memories continue to be a blessing.
We also have the yurtzite for Irene Lamb. And okay, any other yurtzites? Fran, do you have yurtzite for your husband today? Fran Kane? You're not unmuted yet. I'm asking that because I have in my notes that Fran will be leading Kaddish today. So I wasn't sure if you had a yard site for somebody. So Fran, I hope that you do unmute yourself if you do have a name to add of the loved ones today. I hope all will unmute who are reciting Kaddish.
Go.
Okay. Yes, yes, Kadal, yes, Kadash,
Amen.
May all of our loved ones continue to be a blessing. I just want one thing before I turn over to Debbie. I just want to reiterate that it is going to be our custom and our practice at Makom B'Yachad that if it's a relative that we would be saying Kaddish for 11 months, some people say 11 months in a day, 11 months minus a day, 11 months, that we will have the name on our list for the full year. If it's a casual friend for a week, other relatives for a month on the list, and it's up to every person can say Kaddish for as long as they want. It's a very personal thing, very personal practice. But after the year is done, we're not going to say the name of the person out loud each time. Of course, I welcome everyone to say Kaddish as they want and to stand, but we're not going to be reading those names after that month date for relatives who are not a parent or an in-law. If your spouse or partner wants to be on, that's good. We have some in-laws on, and many of us have our next generations on as well, so we have that. So if you have any questions about that, you can just contact me. But after a while, the names become very long. But feel free, if people want to say Kaddish for more than a year, it's your own individual practice, and that's totally fine. And I will take note of these on Wednesday. I see that we have a number of yard sites coming up. I actually have Amy Schwartz teaching it for us Wednesday because I have a Rabbinical Assembly Executive Council meeting, but I'll write those down. And Debbie, all yours.
Thank you, Rabbi. So as is our custom, we have a birthday girl, and it was this weekend and we missed it. So Doreen Barnfrain, would you please unmute so we could sing happy birthday? And Mimi's not with us, so maybe Gilda, you could start us off? Or Toby, somebody?
Sure. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Doreen. Happy birthday to you. And many more. So
Happy
weird.
birthday, Doreen. Just because it happens on the weekend doesn't mean we forget. So we wish you many more happy years and healthy ones.
Thank you
So
very much.
Okay, it's been lovely to be together. Thank you, Rabbi, for that wonderful teaching, and thank you to everyone who participated today. And we're off on another week. We're alive and well, as I love to say. So I hope to see you all. Well, we won't see you. It's not a regular Zoom. It's a webinar with Lois at 3 o'clock, but we'll know you're there. And tomorrow I look forward to seeing many of you at the Day of Study. Last time we had almost 80 women. I was scrolling the screens and counting, and that was really wonderful to see all of us involved in that. And Audrey, yes.
Debbie, is
Yes,
there a link for tomorrow?
So Audrey, you have to register, and it's on the Women's League week that came out. It came out Wednesday last week because of the holiday. So you have to register, because you register for each class. If you have trouble, Audrey, call me and I'll help you through it, okay?
Thank you.
I registered. When will we get the link?
It came out this morning
already.
Okay, it's very early, right, Ruth, it came out very early this morning, and remember,